Okay, it's 9 a.m. I'll call the meeting of the Madison Metropolitan Sewerage District to order. I'm going to make sure I have the correct agenda. Just a second. Okay. Welcome to all of our guests. And Cassie, would you like to go through the meeting guidance?
Thank you. Commissioner Rummel has joined us. And good morning, commissioners, members of the public, and staff. To help us have a smooth meeting, I'm going to review just a few decorum rules for you all. While the commission and staff are in person, we are still offering a Zoom option so members of the public can attend. If you're attending virtually and would like to speak, you can do so during appearances by the public. As a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and streamed live on YouTube, and the public chat has been disabled, but you can still send messages to the host if need be. Finally, commissioners, please use your microphones while speaking and ensure your mic is off, that the light is turned off if you're not speaking so others can utilize the mics. As a reminder, only 3 of the table mics can be live at a time. And also, please ensure you state your name before speaking for those who may be joining us via Zoom. Those are the decorum rules of the District Commission. Thank you for following them, and let's have a great meeting.
Okay, thank you. So, I should have mentioned we have Commissioner Rummel and Estrich participating via Zoom, and the rest are at the table here in the building. Any announcements? No announcements. So we have a few welcomes, 3 of them. The first is Mike and Godfrey, introduced by Ray Schneider, Collection System Tech.
Morning, commissioners. I'd like to introduce Mike and Godfrey to the district. Mike was our summer helper last year. Loved working in our department, loved what he's seen at the district. Decided want to make a career here. He just graduated from Stevens Point with a degree in waste management. When he's not working, he loves to hunt, fish, and talk endlessly about sports. Please welcome Mike into the district.
Welcome, Mike. And then Lisa, you've got Tyler Michlig.
Good morning, commissioners. I'm happy to introduce this morning Tyler Mickling. He's joining the engineering group, and he's coming to us from MSA. Before that, he worked at Applied Tech. He's a professional engineer. He's a graduate of UW-Madison. He's got a bachelor's and master's in environmental engineering. He's got a interesting mix of experience, so he'll be an asset to our team. He hails from beautiful Rhinelander, Wisconsin, and lives in downtown Madison. And we were just chatting, and in his spare time, he enjoys visiting national parks. That's one thing I just learned. And then he also enjoys ceramics. So we're very happy to have him. And he's basically, we didn't have a vacancy, a new thing, but we'll have a retirement coming up. So we're filling the retirement before the person retires. So we're very happy to have Tyler, and please welcome.
That country. Okay. Dana, you're going to introduce Bettina Culver.
So good morning, Commission. I'm happy to introduce Bettina Culver to the district. Bettina comes to us, I should say what role you're going to fill. She's the new district technology manager, and she comes to us with 3 years of experience in the IT sector in both financial and manufacturing sectors. Bettina has a master's in computer information systems and a number of certificates that she holds. So we're really excited to have her. I did give her fair warning in our lengthy interview process about our ERP, and she didn't go running for the hills. So we've got this large software project. So she's heard about that. In her free time, she also likes to travel to national parks. So you have that in common there. She lives on the Yahara, And so she likes to do outdoor activities, swimming, hiking, running, all of that. And you just told me you were at American Players Theater last night, so I haven't been there yet this year, but we'll talk about that. So please join me in welcoming Bettina.
Okay, thank you very much, and welcome to the new employees. Any appearances by the public? I don't see anybody in the room. Is there anybody online? Anybody online? Okay, I don't see anybody, so we'll move on to the consent calendar where we have several items. Approval of the minutes, the minutes of 6/13, cash statement operating fund, sanitary sewer extension plans. It looks like there's only one. It's in phase 2 of Red Tail Ridge in Middleton. Reviewing proposals and award a contract for district cybersecurity assessment. Review of bids and award a contract final clarifier 15 coding project. Review bids and award a contract Northeast Interceptor Wanakee extension capacity. Approve transaction amount and approve professional services agreement amendment for the Northeast Interceptor Wanakee extension capacity. Review of proposals, award a contract portable gas detectors, award a contract 2024 bulk ferric chloride. And then finally is approve a relocation order and determination of the necessity, Lower Badger Mill Creek Interceptor Phase 6. Do we have any questions? Greg and then Tom?
Yeah, I would either like to pull or ask a question on the portable gas detectors, but it's really just a policy question more than it is a specific question on that item. Yeah, I think that would probably be best.
I just had a question about the Interceptor Wanakee extension, just a simple question actually, about the road crossings, because I know that the state just recently did 113. We're shooting the highway. Is that what we're doing? Under the roads there? We're going under, okay. And that's no problem with the roadways or anything? Big pipe, isn't it? Were the local streets just redone? Weren't they redone too, right at the intersections? Just a question.
Hi, sorry. Good morning. I'm Lisa Coleman. I'm the Director of Engineering. So Kennedy Road was not just redone.
Right.
So we are basically going to redo it as part of the project.
Okay.
Or the part we're disturbing, obviously.
Okay. And
then
you
the
cross
crossing
river?
of River Road will also be an open cut, but it's a pretty short crossing.
Okay, yeah, and I think that if I remember right, the town was gonna redo River Road coming up again anyway. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through G and I through J?
I'll make that motion, Wilson.
Motion by Commissioner Wilson, second by
Second.
Commissioner Freeze to approve the consent agenda items A through G and I through J. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carries. That will take us then to item H on the consent calendar, which is the portable gas detectors. That's the item that you were questioning, right, Greg?
Yeah, so the reason, so first of all, obviously I have no issue. I corresponded a little bit with Bill about this yesterday. I have no issue, obviously, with the amount or what we're doing right now. Good. The real question that I wanted to bring up is what we as a commission expect. So staff can provide this and we're getting what we need. So as I look through all these different proposals that, for cost, contracts and stuff that we had yesterday, I'm used to what I'll call the city way, the Board of Public Works way. Generally, when something comes to the Board of Public Works for review and approval, especially if it's a bid item, Public Works, we obviously see all the bids, what they were, what the engineer's estimate was, and then the award. If it's a purchase item, which is this is kind of an odd one, right? Because they're also providing a service and an item. We would normally see what all the bids were, still what the engineer's estimate was. You wouldn't be forced because of service to choose the lowest bidder necessarily, but we would see all that information and what was picked. And really that was my ask, because to try and keep this on. Bill, I think correctly, that maybe we should talk about this as what the commission wants. So that's my take. For me, my take here is easy. I don't expect, especially on a consulting project, that we would always take the low bid. We don't do that, and nor would I expect that here. But I do want, for me personally, I would like to see what those bids were and what we thought we were going to pay, and then what we took and why. Thanks.
I think that Brad might have brought this up earlier too, with what we were to see here, and had requested kind of the same information that Greg just talked about, and I don't think it'd take long to add that. So maybe that's something we could see, just a brief report. A proposal tab. Yeah, thank you. You know, and then maybe if there are reasons why the lowest proposal is not being taken or whatever, that might be, because I think anyway.
Okay, so I think then did you have a comment? Staff will then look to give us the proposal or bid tab, kind of like proposal tab like we normally see for bid tabs of different firms and what their pricing was. Greg?
Yeah, for my part, like the summary that was provided here, now this is obviously a much bigger thing, but the IT security thing was really well put together, right? There was there was a description of how they went through that process and all that kind of stuff. As I read through that, I was great, and I also had some correspondence with Eric yesterday. The other thing I was asking about, like, for the clarifier, again, I'm a fan. There was only one bid received. I was just curious what the policy of the district was with regard to opening that bid, if we had reached out to other contractors to try and get more bids. And the answer to both those questions, Eric, was yes, we had reached out ahead of time to try and get additional bidders, stuff like that, which made me perfectly fine with opening a single bid rather than trying to rebid and get more competition. So anyway, thank you.
Okay. So understand. So did you want to take action then on H?
Yeah, I would move approval.
Move approval. Okay, motion to approve 3H. Do we have a second?
Wilson, I'll second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Freese, second by Commissioner Wilson to approve item 3H. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Okay. That will take us to the consider and possibly take action on recommendations from the Executive Director Search Subcommittee. So we had a subcommittee meeting this morning. We made a few more logistical decisions. Beth and the two staff members who are reviewing the search firm RFPs they're in the process of reviewing those RFPs right now. 12 were received. 5 were reviewed as non-compliant with the RFP, so there's 7 that are being reviewed. They will meet on July 1st to narrow the 7 down to 2 or 3 firms that we will interview. And at the same time, they will be developing, in accord with Mike Lipsky and others in HR, general questions to ask each firm, and then specific questions that may arise from the reviews of the RFP, the specific firms. And then we'll get those out to the subcommittee. Subcommittee will amend, add, or make any changes necessary. Subcommittee will then be meeting on July 10th at 1 p.m. to begin our interviews, slotting basically 45 minutes per interview with about 15 minutes in between. So it'd be 1, 2, and maybe 3, depending on if it's 2 or 3 firms that will be interviewed. The subcommittee will then meet on the 11th, and at that meeting, we will be going through a review of what I call the Executive Director Survey data. So recall that we had surveys of employees, surveys of our customer communities, and of course, the commission survey. there will be a presentation on that data, and the subcommittee will begin discussion of that. We expect that to take some time, so therefore, the normal commission meeting will start at 8 a.m., and the subcommittee will start after the normal commission meeting. Now, we can expect probably a 2.5-hour or more regular commission meeting that day with just regular business that has to be attended to. There's a number of items that are now hitting us for July 11th and again on July 25th. So the subcommittee will then meet after the commission meeting to hear that data, discuss it. We are then going to meet again on 7:30 on the 25th of July to discuss it and create what we're kind of calling our persona for the executive director. And that persona is what are the traits and characteristics that we're looking at, those main traits and characteristics we're looking at. What are those priorities as we look to hire another executive director for the future? So the idea is that the survey data will help inform us, but it's not our overarching principle either, because our overarching thing is to really looking to the future as to what the district needs in the future as we go forward in terms of an executive director. So that type of stuff will help inform us, but we'll also be adding to it. So that then will be formed by the subcommittee on the 25th. On 8/8, we will meet again at 7:30 a.m. and we will review the written and the persona document, and that document will then be used to inform the job description for any amendments that need to be done. And we will bring that persona, so to speak, for approval to the commission at the 8/8 meeting. So what we're looking for is to try to find those traits and characteristics that are most important for the best leader of the district as we move forward. Tom?
You're gonna change all these meetings? Someone's gonna send us advice to change these meetings, because they're all,
Yeah.
like, three of them now that are all different. We won't even know?
Okay, yeah, we're throwing a lot at you, but because of the timing and the length of meetings, we felt it was best for the subcommittee to meet. That's a lot of data that we have to go through, and what we're hearing is that, you know, there's different opinions from different groups and even within groups, so it could take quite a bit of time for us to go through. So after that, then on 8/8, the commission will do the persona, and then the subcommittee will begin discussions probably on the job description in concert with the search firm. And one thing that we will then have further discussion is how much contact we, or whatever we as a subcommittee will have with the search firm as the process then moves forward. Getting regular reports or what have you on that. So does that make sense to everybody? And then I just wanted, you know, at the last meeting I brought up that to think about, a couple of members were gone, is to think about when we do the interviews, do we want only the subcommittee to do the interviews, or are there other commissioners that wish to be in on the interviews too? So just remember to give some thought to that. I don't know how much the commission, those other 5 wish to be involved or not. Tom?
That's something that we need to decide here pretty soon, or just?
I just want you to be thinking about it, because I'm sure we'll be doing interviews, say, the idea is that we hope to have a person selected in December. So we may be doing the interviews in November, early December, or maybe even before. So I just want to keep that thought in everybody's mind so it don't forget about it. You know, because I don't want to, if all 9 or a group of 9, more than the 4, want to do the interviews, I don't want to be as excluding people. But if you're just comfortable with the subcommittee doing the interviews and making the recommendation, you know, that's fine too. I just don't want to leave out a commissioner who may wish to be.
Just so you know where this brain's coming from, like anybody could possibly know that. It seems to me we should be consistent with these interviews and who's doing them. It should be consistent. So if somebody's gonna be there, they should try to be there for all of them. And I think it's certainly, that's why we have a subcommittee. So that makes sense to me. And then I just wanted to make sure that we're working with Paul to make sure that the notices are proper, that, because it is a subcommittee. That's all I have.
And we will, when it gets to
Right. I was just gonna chime in, we haven't gotten to thinking about sort of the outer end into fall of the process, and we probably will do that with our search firm, I'm guessing, but there's a lot of different ways you can approach late stage phases. Do we have job talks for a couple candidates, or do we have interviews, or not interviews, is probably too strong of a word, meet and greets with staff? I mean, there's just all those different possibilities, but we haven't even begun to think about that because it's far enough out yet. And again, I think a search firm will have opinions and ideas and professional, experience around that. So, but all those pieces start to bring in kind of when the whole commission might come in, if indeed you want to keep all of us on the subcommittee kind of focused on things like the in-depth interviews and some of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my thinking is we'll probably do something with meet and greets either with staff and probably the customer communities as well. Beth?
Yeah, I was just going to add to that I think that, yes, as we finalize our candidate list and come down to a single candidate, I think having a meet and greet with the different stakeholders and groups would be a really good idea to process this. And then we had talked briefly today about onboarding too. And it's going to be important for the commission to be involved in the onboarding of this next person as well, to make sure that they get off to a successful start. So just start thinking a little bit about that. I know that's a ways down the road. And then just one other thing, just a reminder that the subcommittee meetings are open to all the commissioners. So if anybody wants to come and attend, you're welcome to. So, anytime that they're posted.
Yeah, for example, on the 11th, if you want to stay and hear the survey data, you're welcome to stay and join us within the subcommittee. And then if you want to hear our discussion on the 25th, come early. Janelle, did you have something? Yep.
Yeah, we're getting the invitations with the agendas, which I very much appreciated. Thanks. Keep that coming.
Okay, so I think that, the subcommittee will be very active in July, and then probably somewhat in August, and then depending on how we do touch. And I suppose it could be possible when it gets to the candidates that we do two sets of interviews. We may do a group, I don't know. I've never worked with a search firm before. How that process goes, if they come to us with 5 candidates, we narrow it down to 2 or 3 and then do a second set of interviews or what, so that's always possible. Okay, anybody have any questions or comments? Sarah or Marcia, anything to add? Okay.
I do have a question, Chair. So the invitation to attend the survey data, will that be online in case I, as so often, never make it in person?
The subcommittee meeting on July 11th, they typically, the invite goes to commissioners who can attend virtually, but any member of the public that wants to attend has to attend in person. So it's not a true virtual meeting, but any commissioner could attend.
Okay, that's my point, whether
Using the Teams, I believe it's the Teams meeting.
That is correct. We could go to Zoom. We just got that set up in there. We need to do a little testing. I feel like that's a conversation we can have offline about logistics and how to meet your needs.
Thank you.
So right now it's Teams because that was what was set up for that room. Okay? So that will take us to the executive director update. Bill, in your new role? Nothing to report. Alan, you're going to do an operations report?
That came up kind of abruptly. Alan Grooms, Operations Manager for the district, and I'll be giving the May plant performance report. Next slide. May performance was pretty good overall in short summary. All the numbers were at or below the historical ranges. Phosphorus was maybe up into the range a little bit, 0.24, but that's at the lower end of the historical band that we usually run in. Ammonia a little higher at 0.17. I'd commented before we've been seeing some higher loads to the on nitrogen to the plant. Those are starting to come down a little bit, so it may be a little bit seasonal. Could also be a dilution effect. We are seeing some, with the rain, some higher flows, but generally all the performance parameters were good through across the board. Any questions on the plant performance?
Alan, are there certain of these elements that when you get heavier rains tend to kind of flush more down into the sewer system, so the readings go up?
Yeah,
ammonia?
Yeah, a question on the parameters with a higher flow event, do we see some go up? We do. Typically, these are, and I think those of you who looked at our permit, this is a very simplified picture of it. There's also, weekly and daily parameters in some cases. So a lot of that tends to bake, kind of work itself out over time. But on a short event, we do see things come up quite a bit. Solids, often there's an early flush. A lot of times there's also an organic load that comes with that before it starts to dilute out. And so we can see the dissolved oxygen concentrations and things like that start to drop in the basins. The blowers and that sort of thing can struggle to keep up. And if we get a very high flow event, we can see even the solids start to push up through that as we start to struggle to keep up with the ability of the clarifiers to keep pace with that or to match the flows as they come in. So we did just talking about it doesn't relate to May because this was just last Saturday night. We had a pretty good storm come through. A lot of people do ask questions about the flows. We did touch instantaneous peak of 100 MGD for just a few minutes Saturday night, but sounds high. It is high compared to what we've been experiencing, but it's, I don't even know if it ranks in the top 10 as far as high flows for us. Probably doesn't, in fact. We did have, we had several hours, we had 3 hours that were above 70 MGD. So most of it was a quick peak and then it came back down. And we actually didn't even have to start implementing the high flow procedures of the plant yet. So we were in good shape Saturday night. So unfortunately we didn't have, a lot of wind or anything. We weren't struggling with power outages. That sometimes is the bigger issue for us to deal with, is to keep all the stations going and pumping. So when we start getting, electrical outages, that can present a real problem. We did have several stations, city stations, that were double pumping, and so we did, monitored that as it went. But it was basically just a lot of water, and mostly on the northeast side is where we saw that. So, do I have another slide? Sure, if I do. We do have the performance metrics. So, working on the plant performance, these are just the general roll-up metrics. We're pretty much right on pace with what we'd expect to be for water process. That clean water represents what we're returning to our environment, the surface waters. So Spoiler alert, with the recent wet spell, that's going to start ticking up. So the last couple of years have been pretty consistent, around 13.5 billion gallons for the year. I think we're a pretty good pace to exceed that now. Although this is historically kind of low, we normally would have said we're 40 MGD capacity, and the last couple of years we've been running more like about 36 to 37 for the plant. So this is actually, it's been relatively dry compared to recent history. So I think everyone knows. Any questions? Okay, and next slide. Sorry, Ken. Biosolid storage end of May, we're 51.3% full. Right now we've got one completely empty biosolid storage tank, and as I'm starting to see the wheat starting to turn, I would expect here in the next month or so we'll start to see that alleviate, or we'll start to see place outlets for our biosolids. Screw production is on pace, as is Metro, what we're transferring. So everything is pretty normal right now, I would say. It's pretty boring. I try and make it interesting, but there's only so much I can do. Boring is usually good on these things, so thank you.
Okay, any questions for Alan? Thank you, Alan. Rob? Paul, regulatory?
Yes, so this is the meeting we kind of review a little bit of our legal services for the past month, May. I was out most of the month, and I was pleased to find that our total hours was under first time in a long time, so hooray for that. On the regulatory side, they're continuing back to Grass Lake. The ongoing issue with Badger Mill Creek and Carp Sea involved some of our attention, as well as continuing to monitor PFAS issues with Marty's group. We had a couple of general matters. The per diem issue came up during that time. On the contract side, we had some municipal services agreement. There were some issues with the public market as that is starting to get underway, and some questions on bid qualification and pre-qualification that were more general in nature. And on the HR side, a bit of discussion about the employee complaint process and how that works. So overall, a fairly calm month. June, I know, has been very busy, so I'll hear about that next month. That's all I have. Any questions from anybody?
Any questions for Paul? Tina, thank you, Paul. And then the future meeting schedule. So both, as I mentioned, the 11th meeting is intense and will probably be long, and I hear the same thing with the 25th meeting as well. With those both in person. Thinking so. Yep. Okay. So that takes us into future agenda topics.
Commissioner Hubble,
Yes.
Commissioner Rummel has her hand raised.
Oh, okay, sorry. Marcia?
Well, thank you, Tom. I just want to say I might not be here on the 25th. I'm going to go up to our family camp in northern Minnesota, where internet is not always reliable, which is one of the benefits of going up there. But I could maybe come. I just plan on me not being here. July 25th.
Okay, we'll have, Cassie will add that to the future agenda thing where we put people's absence. Okay. Tom?
Thank you.
No, nothing.
Okay.
Preparing.
And then other business? Tom, you have your mic on?
Yes, I would move we adjourn.
Motion by Commissioner Wilson, second by Commissioner Clark. To adjourn, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Have a good week.
Bye.